Hello lovely friends, here's a sneak peek of my autumn tree woman. I've wanted to do this for such a long time and I've got round to it over the last few weeks. And here she is. Isn't she beautiful? I'm using some different techniques today. I'm using fluid art, spray paint and silicone to create some cells and some texture in the hair. So I hope you join me today and enjoy this journey with me. This piece was inspired by an amazing figurehead, but I'm not going to mention her here.
See if you can guess.
This piece was inspired by AB Creative. Thank you so much for inspiring me. I'll put the link to her autumn woman in the description below, so you can see the colours I used here. And I used my fingers and paintbrush to cover the base in these beautiful golden colours, a mixture of iridescent gold, rich gold, iridescent lime or green yellow and fluorescent yellow. And once it dried, I brought it down. It was slightly darker, as all paints do dry slightly darker, and then I cut out the shape that would fit the canvas and then started to draw her face. Now, I always used to think I couldn't draw, and I think a lot of us get these messages, don't we, from when we're at school. And so I just thought, just allow myself just to enjoy it and see what happens. And I really enjoyed drawing her face and hair. So there she is, there's her profile, and I think she looks quite elegant. What do you think? You can use any contact paper for this. It's that sticky paper that you can draw on one side and you can cut it out and stick it and it's see-through. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping the profile for another project. I'm using the bits outside of the profile so that I can paint the face and I can paint the hair and keep the background already gold. So you can see these beautiful colours I'm using today, really vibrant autumn colours, and I've put 2 drops of silicone in my black paint. You can use any black paint, and this is Amsterdam Oxide Black. So the profile is down on the canvas, the paper towel is wet, and I'm applying the beautiful iridescent copper to the face. I'm going to be using my hands to smooth out the paint. It's a beautiful autumn colour, and all of these colours dry darker, so you'll just see that when you first put it on it looks quite light, doesn't it, but you can still see the iridescence. And I'm making sure to cover the side of the canvas as well. And I thought I'll put gold down first of all for the hair. I really want this to have a golden vibe. And then iridescent red, orange, fluorescent yellow. Now when I laid these colours down, I haven't laid them down in this order before, so I was really curious to see how it would appear. And I'm just putting a bit of the dark brown just down the centre. This is a dark brown that I made, so I can't put the actual mixture there. I don't know how it was for a previous pour, but it seemed like a really nice colour for my autumn woman. So as I want this woman to be a tree, I'm just looking as I design the lines how I'm going to be putting that tree, because I want a sense of tree, but I don't want it to be too obvious. I quite like optical illusions. I quite like people to see what they see in their paintings and see what they see in my painting. So I always like things to be quite subtle, but also evident enough that it's there and it's present. So here's my silicone mix, and I'm just going to get my paper towel. I'm literally going to dip it in. You can see how wide it is. It's not very wide at all, and that's up to you. So you could use a really thick swipe here, or you could use an even thinner one. So I've gone for something, probably it's about 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres, and I'm just swiping it right across so that I'm having in my mind a bit of a plan, so that when I do these thicker swipes I can begin to tail off the strands at the end but keep the hair looking quite thick. So I'm just going along swiping, and can you see the cells popping up? So I'm just loving that iridescent yellow at the moment. See, when you mix these colours, can you see how potentially there could be quite a lot of brown made? But because she's an autumn tree woman, brown's a welcome colour. But funnily enough, not a lot of brown came through, even though I add a bit of brown. And that's the thing when you use dark colours and lots of really vibrant colours, especially the fluorescent ones. Someone asked me the other day, you know, what's the difference between the neon and the fluorescent? Fluorescent tends to be more subtle than neon, although they're both very bright. But I just found when I used neon, it just made it sort of jump out, whereas the fluorescent yellow, for example, just adds a bit of a highlight. I used it on a sunset recently and it just blended so beautifully with the other colours. So you'll see in a minute just how it adds a highlight. And at the moment I'm just literally using my palette knife to go between the hair and just create a branchy look. Really, really gently. You see at the edges, just putting the twigs and the branches. I'm going to use my heat gun and I want a bit of texture. I want a bit of a bubbled effect. Because if you think in the autumn when the leaves start to die and there's a bit of growth there and there's also a bit of renewed energy, it's such an amazing time of the year because it's that sort of harvested time of the year, but also as things are dying off and going back to the earth to be filled with nutrition again. So it's like that sort of real restful period, but also there's a bit of light and energy. So I wanted that really nice mix because the colours in autumn I find so beautiful. Those reds, those golds, those really subtle browns. Don't you think autumn's quite a transitional time of year? So many people around the world feel so relieved in autumn. There's that sort of big flurry of the summer has gone and there's just more of a calm around as people prepare for the winter. So just look at the top of the tree now. I'm beginning to sort of add a bit of red and orange, and I'll be adding a bit of neon yellow in a minute, which adds a bit of character and depth to the top of her head, and is also beginning to take the tree around. And I want the tree to stay within the profile of her face, and at the same time I want it to gradually sort of move over. It's almost as if it's growing from the back of her head towards the front of her face. And also as I'm going along, I'm thinking about how I want to make her profile a bit more human. And so I'm almost doing the curves where the profile of the hairline might be, or where the ear might be. Can you see that? As I'm going along, I just add a little bit more orange or yellow, and that fluorescent yellow mixed with the black does make a bit of green appear, although I did add a bit of yellow green. And can you see as I'm layering up the hair, it's adding almost a 3D effect, and that's what I'm going for. I want the face to be more subtle and the hair to really stand out, because that's going to be the tree. So when you think about trees and the tree woman, what comes to mind for you? I always think about the feminine and Gaia and Mother Earth. I'm using my heat gun here, and this is the part where I start to bubble up the paint a bit while it's still wet, just in certain areas. If you turn your heat gun up, you can get that effect. If you just have it on a cool setting, it just literally dries the paint. It's quite a fierce machine. So going back to the feminine, I always think about that nurturing, beautiful side of the feminine, and the feminine is part of all of us, whether you're man or woman. And that just sort of interconnectedness between nature and nurturing and life force and life-giving. So this is what was coming from my heart when I was thinking about this painting. And I wanted a lot of vibrancy, but also a lot of darkness there to give that depth, because you don't have one without the other. It's a bit like when people say dark, and light, sometimes that can sound a bit negative or a bit fearful, but actually if you think winter is dark and it's actually a time for rest and rejuvenation, and for a time where the leaves have fallen off the trees and they're going back to the earth to feed the soil, so that then in the springtime things can come up again. I love the winter. In fact, I go sea swimming all year, and it's quite mild in Cornwall, UK, so when we go swimming, the outside temperature isn't really below -5 centigrade or -10 at the very most, but that's probably just for a week a year or something. But generally speaking, it floats around 0 degrees centigrade, and the outside temperature is anything floats around 0 degrees or just above 0, so it's never that bad really. We say never that bad, depends what you see as cold. It is cold and it do get really cold, but you go in for less time in the winter. If you do sea swimming, please always take safety precautions and check with your GP if you've got any conditions, any health conditions. I started going in when I had a troublesome left side, and I sort of almost limped into the sea, and then I just felt so good afterwards. Even though I only went in for 5 minutes, I then went in again, and don't forget it was very warm here in the UK. It was 17 degrees in the sea, and outside temperature was about 15, something like that. I say very warm. It was the warmest in the sea that it gets. And then I just carried on, so let me know how you get on if you do it, or if you do it yourself. So I'm just using the palette knife a bit more now, and I'm bringing the branches round to meet the profile of her face. I'll pop some music on for you. Enjoy this part of the process. I'll see you towards the end as I use a bit of yellow gold spray paint just to give her some finishing touches.
I'll be there for you. Every fall and every rise, every wrong and every right. I'll be there for you. Yeah, I'll be there for you. When you're tired and worn, and you feel like you can't go on, I'll be there to put one foot in front of the other. When you've lost your way, tired and worn, and you feel like you can't go on, I'll be there to put one foot in front of the other. When you've lost your way, oh, the first time your heart breaks, I'll pick up the pieces and put them back together. I'll be there for you. Every fall and every rise, every wrong and every right. I'll be there for you.
There she is. What do you think of my golden tree woman, my autumn tree woman? Do you like her eyelashes? So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you've enjoyed this process. And just to finish her off, I'm using this beautiful spray paint. It's like a golden yellow. It's so beautiful. And I'm wanting almost for her to be breathing out some gold, because she has gold inside her. What do you think of my golden, beautiful autumn tree woman today? It's a textured piece, and I've got a playlist of all the textured pieces that I've done using acrylic paint, spray paint, all kinds of exciting mixed media inspired by nature, and I'm building upon that playlist. So let me know if you fancy something next. I've got some exciting ones planned for the future. I'll put the playlist at the end of this video and in the description for my textured pieces. So thank you so much for being here today. I'd love to know what you're creating at the moment. I love your journey of creations, and there's some amazing people in this art community. I'm grateful for every single one of you. Thank you to my subscribers for being so faithful. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're enjoying the video, please do subscribe. And if you were to share and mention on social media, that would really help as well. So here she is, my beautiful autumn golden tree woman. I hope you're having a lovely day. Take good care. And don't forget, your art is a piece of you. See you soon, I hope. Bye.